for those of you who have never read the Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, let me start this segment with it as it was written about 246 years ago. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Look, I don't care what your views or interpretations of the words a well-regulated militia. The rest is pretty clear language. Being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now we have several states and federal laws continuing to close in on our Second Amendment rights, and it's going to be a problem in the future. We have seen throughout history the effects of taking guns away from people, and now we are even seeing Ukrainian citizens wishing they each had an armory of weapons in their home to defend themselves against an attacking country. Well, of course, we have the other side of the equation, like the crazies who shoot up schools and malls because a chip inside their head goes overload and they just don't like Mondays. So now we have new legislation in which a few Republicans, like the ones in Bucks County, like Brian Fitzpatrick voted for, which is changing laws and countering the Second Amendment. They're calling it a bipartisan framework that has measures intended to limit some access to firearms, paving the way for the broadest federal legislation and guns in decades. The first part says the legislation would ban any weapons or raise the age of buying assault-style weapons to 21 from 18. Which was the age of the gunmen in both the Buffalo and Uvalde, right? So these guys were 18 years old. This was a statement from the committee drafting the bill. Our plan saves lives while also protecting the constitutional rights of law-abiding Americans. So I guess that you can only be a law-abiding American if you're over 21. Is that how it works? So law-abiding Americans are from 18 to 21 are not law-abiding Americans? I don't understand that. The group of senators releasing this statement were led by, of course, Senators Chris Murphy in Connecticut, John Cornyn in Texas, as well as Christian Sinema, whatever the heck his name is, and Thorne Tillis. Brain-dead Biden stepped in and said that he supports the bill, but made this statement. Obviously, it does not do everything I think that is needed, but reflects important steps in making the right decision. Biden urged lawmakers to quickly get it to his desk. As I read the details of the bill, there's nothing in here but raising the age of buying guns, what they call basically assault weapons, until the age of 21. Everything else is just stuff that's obvious and is either being done or common sense said it should have been done. One part says that background checks should go into sealed records of crimes committed when the applicant was a minor before issuing a gun permit. I got to tell you, this is probably the only thing I agree with. It's a great idea. Even red flag laws make sense until you realize that anyone who is mad at someone could just call in and say something like, "My boyfriend has a gun and I think he's going to use it." Even if he never said anything like that, the problem is they're going to go and they're going to take his guns away just because somebody said that. Another issue is that this age requirement for so-called assault weapons has already been taken to the Ninth Circuit Court in California, and the judges there overturned a ban on weapons for those under 21. That means this bill will be challenged anyway. Unfortunately, this virtue-signaling politician that always want to make themselves look good when a tragedy occurs. None of these changes will stop someone from walking into a school and shooting it up. The only thing that will work is keeping the crazy shooter out of our school or neutralizing the threat before a tragedy happens. Why do we have armed guards in facilities like courthouses that protect adults but not our children? Stop the madness by stopping the madman is the only solution. The new gun laws won't stop anything, and frankly, both sides of the fence should be furious at the politician using these recent tragedies to gain popularity with voters. Maybe we should take away their armed guards and make the White House, Senate, and Congress a gun-free zone like schools are. By the way, the NRA chimed in on this matter in a report to Fox News this weekend and stated the following. The NRA is committed to real solutions to help stop violence in our community. We encourage our elected officials to provide more resources to secure our schools, fix our severely broken mental health system, and support law enforcement. Huh? Support law enforcement? What a great idea. Maybe if we had support for law enforcement in this country, we would not have had a bunch of officers more afraid of the repercussions of stopping criminals, and maybe it would have made a difference in the response time at Uvalde. The NRA also said the NRA will continue to oppose any effort to insert gun control policies, initiatives that override constitutional due process protections, and efforts to deprive law-abiding citizens of their fundamental right to protect themselves and their loved ones into this or any other legislation. By the way, because of this, I'm renewing my subscription to the NRA. They are probably the only thing standing between the government and the freedom of the citizens to have their Second Amendment rights.